We'll talk a little bit more about that later in the service, but we're very happy to have you here, whether you're coming in for the 300th time or the first time. We will have a portion of the service dedicated to joys and concerns as it goes on, but today is a very special day. We're celebrating National Poetry Month with poems from 4 of our actual poets here in the congregation, so we're looking forward to that. And I would invite you, any of you who are listening on YouTube, to come on down sometime and check us out in person. We're just as good as we are online. And also, those of you who are here today, you can catch us on YouTube through the church website. So if you missed something or think that something the minister said didn't make any sense, you can go back and check it out if you want to. The opening words are from Isaiah, and Isaiah sometimes is one of a stick his finger in your face kind of preachy prophets, but this particular passage, he's got a sort of a happy bubble going. The wilderness and dry land shall be glad. The desert shall rejoice and blossom. Like the crocus, it shall blossom abundantly and rejoice with joy and singing. Where our hymns are all from, we'll get to that later also, explaining where they come from, but they're all from a certain aspect of the history of this church. So first is Deeply We Drink. And it's by Leo Collins. light the chalice with the words from Albert Schweitzer. At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. And now, as you rise as you are able and willing to say the First Church Boston affirmation, we say it in unison. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Thank you. Please be seated. In terms of our announcements, we have missed the open mic. So there's an open mic after coffee hour, or somewhere a few minutes into coffee hour, after the service today. And those of you who want to, who might have brought a poem, or have one already imprinted in your mind, or you can actually even use your cell phone, are welcome to come and share a poem with us in the auditorium. That's toward the close of coffee hour. Other announcements, of course, we have a very full candidating week that's spelled out in great detail. Do you want to have us to say it that? That's my announcement. That's yours. I don't want to steal your thunder.
Good morning. I'm Barbara Martin, the chair of the Ministerial Search Committee, and I hope by now all of you know that we have a very outstanding candidate, the Reverend Dr. Stephanie May, who has been serving the UU Church in Wayland for the past decade and is very excited to be our candidate and has a lot of thoughts about First Church and a lot of interest in it. And what I wanted to call your attention to, I know we've also been telling you for some time to save the Sundays of candidating week, April 30th and May 7th, for services led by the Reverend May, and also for a congregational lunch and discussion with her on the first Sunday, and then on that second Sunday on May 7th for the congregational vote on whether to call her as the next settled minister of First Church. And that she would be the first senior minister called as a woman to that pulpit, which is an important moment in the long history of the church. But I wanted to call your attention in your very rich order of service, which has many things in it today, but following the order of service, there is a full schedule for candidating week, which includes 2 midweek discussions, one hybrid. You can either come here to the church for a discussion on social justice on Tuesday or join by Zoom. And then on Wednesday evening, another congregation-wide, all are invited, discussion around the issues of worship and membership, 2 of the big things to grapple with, at the core of who we are, and then how do we draw more people to join us in it. And that will be on Wednesday by Zoom, so it'll be easy for all of us to join from wherever we are. I hope to see all of you at all those events and look forward to sharing that week with you. Thank you.
Announcement.
I'm just going to do a quickie here. In order that we celebrate candidating week, the choir has put their Collins concert on that first Sunday. It is at 5 o'clock, so I hope you don't get too tired to come back, because we have an action-packed, wonderful concert with a quartet of strings and a jazz trio, and it's going to be really festive and wonderful. So if you want to go home and take a nap, or go and snooze in the back there, or just have some extra food that Janine will have provided for you that day, I'm sure that would be welcome too. We are doing one of the pieces today that you're going to hear on the concert on the 30th. Again, it's at 5 o'clock, and I hope you will all come. So we have a little sneak peek for you on this wonderful, festive, springy, fabulous Poetry Sunday that these people have put together, and they have done it all themselves. It's amazing. So I hope you enjoy today, and please come and see us on the 30th.
Are there any other announcements? It's time now for joys and concerns, and I would like to express my great satisfaction that we are on schedule with the ministerial succession of this church. It's really exciting, and the whole week is going to be very exciting for us all here. So that's my joy for the moment, and I invite any of you to come up and give us anything that's going on in your lives.
My joy is that I recently was at a family celebration for my mother who turned 96. There were 14 of us, 2 under the age of 2, and 1 plus a dog. So very grateful for all of the wonderful guidance of my mother, and hope to send her a link to this after the service.
Thank you, Reverend Robinson. Since I am not officially on the program for poetry, I would like to give you a Reno haiku from Japanese poetry going back to Basso, who is as well known in Japan as Shakespeare is in England, etc. Haiku is a short poem with a very concise thing. Poetry is to do and say the profoundest thoughts in the shortest way.
I just wanted to give an update on my boyfriend with the broken ankle. This past week we went to the doctors and he is now in a walking boot. So he is slowly but surely getting better. He'll be on 2 crutches with his walking boot for a month and then moving into 1 crutch for I don't know how long, but we're slowly getting there. So more prayers and thoughts are encouraged. Thank you.
So I have 2 joys, small and large. One is just joy of long friendship. I had a lovely vacation with a friend I've known since we were 11, and I'm 58 now, and he's going to be later this year. And I just love the geography of old friends. They knew me when. I don't have to explain my parents, don't have to explain my hometown. So it's just a joy that I'm lucky to have him. And the other one is my love of Boston. I am from Connecticut originally. Every single spring, it's happening early just because of the 10th anniversary, I think, and because spring has come really early. This is the day when you're going to get Boston at its absolute best. This whole weekend, up until, obviously, beyond Monday. It's just, if you want to experience the most sentimental of New England, this is it. So I have just great joy that there are folks to share it, and hopefully everybody has a lovely day tomorrow.
Hi guys, me again. I just have a little concern, 2 concerns for 2 people. I'll get the nice, shiny, pretty ones here. Bill Thorpe called me, who's a beloved congregational member and a beloved singer in the choir for what, 30 years? 40 years. So he called me, he said, "How are you?" I said, "I'm fine." He goes, "Well, you won't be in a minute." So he has COVID, but he is okay. He's okay. But he's, snooty. But it's not much more than that. He's fine. Brianna Perez, who's also in our choir, one of our newer members, also has COVID. But, same thing, kind of head coldy thing. They're all good. They're all being taken care of. But just keep them in your thoughts and send them your love and good vibes only.
This is for all those thoughts and prayers which we hold in our hearts unspoken. Our responsive reading is number 551 from the Ute Indians of North America. Earth, teach me stillness as the grasses are stilled with light. Earth, teach me suffering as old stones suffer with memory. Earth, teach me caring as parents who secure their young. Earth, teach me limitation as the ant which crawls on the ground. Earth, teach me freedom as the eagle which soars in the sky. Earth, teach me resignation as the leaves which die in the fall. Earth, teach me regeneration as the seed which rises in the spring. Earth, teach me to forget myself as melted snow forgets its life. Earth, teach me to remember kindness as dried fields reap with faith.
The reading is from The Tao of Poetry by Ottone Riccio. He ran a poetry workshop at the Boston Center for Adult Education for many, many years. We need poetry, not only because it moves us, inspires us, makes us see and hear and taste and smell and feel, but primarily because life without poetry is unimaginable. What makes the true poem vital is not due to which end or purpose it serves, but that it is a true poem. What you find when you consider a fine poem are words, clusters of words, phrases, lines, sentences. You need to stop considering and instead listen to the poem. Do not concern yourself with understanding the poem. Listen to it, make it part of you, become part of it, and you will come to know the poem. Keep in mind the origins of poetry, when it was nothing more than vocal sounds, chants, and foot stomping, accompanied by beating out a rhythm on a hollow log, dance. This is the heart of poetry. All else is adornment, necessary because you assume it to be. The essential poetry lies in the melody and the rhythm, made manifest by the chant and the dance. Break down the wall between you and the poem. You see a spark and assume it indicates the poem. Only when the poem is completed will you realize the spark is the poem. The poem is energy. The poem is also matter, but primarily it is energy. A set of lines without energy remains a set of lines without energy. The true poem is always in motion. If it stops for one instant, it is an imperfect poem. To be grasped at all, the poem must remain elusive. Each image, metaphor, symbol, phrase, line, and word illuminates every other image, metaphor, symbol, phrase, line, and word. The poem does not teach us anything. The poem reminds us of what we already know. The poem does not promise anything. The poem offers us only itself. This first poem is something I wrote for my mother, who was in skilled nursing, and as we're approaching the, quote, end of COVID, I thought it was perhaps appropriate. This is called Another Day, Another Lockdown. Yes, we have been vaxxed. Yes, we have been boosted. And still, you'll have time for all those science times. But we just had one. So many already got COVID. What? People are getting it twice? More time for solitaire. Bump up your winning streak. Staff must wear more PPEs. It's all PPE. You see so little of the person, like interacting with astronauts. You did well on FaceTime the other day. Try again. So much hand washing. Haven't we used enough soap? We're practically bathed in hand sanitizers. There was that TV series you liked, All Creatures, Great and Small. Restrictions had lifted. We saw family, we saw friends. We could be out and about. Perhaps angle your chair for a better view of the bird feeder. We've all graduated from Dr. Fauci's School of Public Health, more than we ever wanted to know. With Kindle and large type, you can read ever so much more. In season, we can meet outdoors. How we've changed our definition of what's in season. Then there's that phrase that people use now, the new normal. This is called My Flowered Self. I am poppy red amaryllis, my 6 petals out loud bold, brimming with confidence. I am bleeding heart flower. Each pink Valentine blossom holds a droplet of ache. I am pure white calla lily. The plant does not require attention, and I have been neglected at times. I am a red rose, hopefully velvet smooth and fragrant, perhaps prickly at times. I am an orange trumpet vine, reaching beyond hummingbirds to have my voice heard. I am Canterbury bells, clusters of purple, flower language for gratitude. I am daffodil or narcissus, bright yellow, touch of orange, maybe narcissistic after all. I am Chinese lantern, a light orange, delicate hardy, or is it a hardy delicate? This next few poems are poems I wrote about family and related people. When concentric grandmothers were called Nana, she called herself Squeaky and hosted dinners for 12. Downhill sheet cakes and puddings, strawberry filled, rolled off those stubby fingers long after company arrived. Adults were there, and children in good grace, placed at 3 wobbly tables under the Tiffany lamp. And when the lamp dropped beads in the middle of dinner, proper guests soon learned she saved them. Staunchly layered sandwiches cemented with cream cheese seconded them all into a bulging serviette. Dishes forgotten, they flowed into the living room for coffee and cream mints, a night's conversation. She'd lipstick stale cigarettes from the silver box beside her, poke the nearest guest for missed conversation, and before the party ended, sauteur and good food had seated her lap to the couch for the evening. Florence, big brown coffee cup lady, sits in the kitchen outgrowing its size, lading out lady fingers, 10 per platter, for grandmother's tea party. The leftovers are hers. We children play around her, whisk food past that slow-moving bulk, hide beneath the table to watch those pink-lined chocolate hands at work. She puts us to bed once, then twice, laughs in spite of herself when we play with her hair. Then suddenly, recalling coffee brewing, she throws up her hands and struggles upstairs. Grandmother tried to keep her, phoned when illness kept Florence away. One day, her last with us, she quit and left, with a promise unfulfilled to keep in touch. This is called Ed. Ed stands ill at ease at grandmother's grave. Black suit, years old, unfitted white shirt, his lips bitten raw because men never cry. On other days, he tended the house. He came with the dawn, though none ever saw the overalls and steel rims put to tasks. Noon found hinges hinged, a swing in the yard, and Ed gulping coffee, about to depart. But death is a last house stone strong. Those doors never swing another way. The path could be smoother, some have said, but we follow it blindly, nonetheless. Thank you.
My name is Adnan Onart, and I selected some poems related to the church, to the congregation in one way or another. The first poem is, When Did You Become an American? I offer the first part of this poem to Ruth Owens, who introduced me to the religion of baseball. Of course, she was worshiping the wrong deities, Yankees, but it's okay among the friends. When did you become an American? In 2004, when the Red Sox won the World Championship, and elated, I jumped into the air with my son in front of the TV, without understanding exactly why the whole stadium roared after one of our players threw the ball gently to another. And I said, high time to learn the rules of the silly game. The second part goes to Rosemary Lloyd, who supported me during my bout with cancer, before the operation and afterwards. When did you become an American? When I woke up after my surgery in Mass General and asked my wife about the election results before even finding out the outcome of the operation, and I said, oh well, just another 4 years, still under the influence of the sweet painkillers. The last section goes to Leo Collins, with whom we discussed many subjects critically, including what does it mean to be an American. When I got stuck in traffic on I-95, while I was listening to a news report on NPR about the Bertholdi Museum in Colmar, France, dedicated to the creator of the Statue of Liberty, an Italian tourist visiting this site, in the most melodic tone, said, Libertà che illumina il mondo, huh? Invaders, torturers, empire builders. You are a country of darkness now. You don't even deserve the discolored cupboard of this beauty. First, it sounded like another European highbrow haughtiness. Then I felt a dagger penetrating my belly. Ramadan in Dunkin' Donuts. This must go to Stephen Kenrick, with whom we might have shared many donuts. Ramadan in Dunkin' Donuts. From his asking about the time and double-checking his watch, I understood he was about to break his fast. Selamun alaikum, I said, the only Arabic I knew for all practical purposes. Alaikum salam, he replied. He was setting his table, 2 donuts, 1 chocolate glaze, the other Boston cream, and a thick lentil soup he had apparently brought from the grocery store across the street. Do you want to sit down and share? I thank him, no. Aren't you fasting? I lied. My high blood pressure, my medication. He pointed to one of the donuts. Still, he said, let's share. The collapsing Twin Towers, the beheaded hostages, and the jumpy look on people's faces hearing my name. We already do, I said. Morning prayer. This is the favorite poem for Natalie Campbell. She always say, I like your poem about your grandmother. But she was mistaken. The person in that poem is not grandmother, but it is a great-grandmother that is the grandmother of my mother or mother of my grandmother. She was 160 years old when she passed. In 1878, she was in Istanbul and heard the Russian cannon of the army that was already in the suburbs of Istanbul. And the secret agents of the Sultan distributed a fake news that might have been one of the first in the history. They said, oh, this is not Russian army. Our Ottoman guys are playing war games in the suburb. Morning prayer for Natalie. In a poor Istanbul neighborhood at the ground floor of our house, my great-grandmother says, it is time for morning prayer. If you pray, she says, pure as a child, from this corner of the room, an angel will appear. I am 5 years old, closing my eyes. Allahu Ekber. Esselamu alaikum ve rahmatullah. I am 50, opening my eyes. In Boston, Massachusetts, in a not-so-poor neighborhood, at the top floor of our house, praying my morning prayer. From that corner of the room, my great-grandmother appears. Thank you.
Words, their sounds a symphony, their rhythms percussive, soothing. Words radiate, implicate other words. A shuttle weaving the first stars into the lavender twilight. Words move across the page, whirling dervishes, enchanting the water fairies to dance. Words positioned with care, words end-stopped, run on enough to make a love song. Words punctuate, clanging goat bells that celebrate, that repeat, that surround you, that make you feel their gravitational pull. Tango moves. Words rhyme, rises one with the meter. I am bathed in form. The tending. Jet streams of indigo keep the world together amid leaning clouds. Join the echoing laugh of catbird and sparrow through hills that wait. Words, words satisfy, a meal of words. Words flow like wine. Spring altar. Ah, when I grow up, with each breath of spring, as blossoms form in nature's temple, coloring a pastel seance. Chattering birds announce his returning. He who said so much by birth. The golden star shines on, because the other side of death is life, is love. In summer, the hyperbole of the heart races against the tortoise-paced sun and concedes to the warmth of lying on browning grass. Night falls into darkness, lemon-drenched streams redial daylight and elongate the hours of sun-dried euphoria. You are the firefly. You are the spark of surprise that leads my eyes across the fields of excessive sorrow to wonder again. Yellow dress, white car, fateful introduction. Yes, I drank you in with my eyes, and the kisses began, the way ripples form and expand outwardly, reaching your lips, the taste of you, the inhaling of the sweet air of you, when you tossed back a look like a pebble into the pond that is my very soul. As reeds on the shore show up reflected in the clear, mirroring water, I heard the echoes of that sweet, sweet music that has rung in my ears since childhood. I felt your hand as though you could cup the heavens in it, being drawn through cool water, as though you were floating, buoyant on a raft, timbers of time roped together, carrying you through this waking dream with me. My eyes, blinded by years of choosing how to see, correcting the incoming ecstasy of vision with the pitter-patter of an obedient heart. Kisses dulcet and delightful as love is my master. Lullaby. Tethered to Earth's grassy belly, milky clouds protecting overhead, go to sleep, embraced by the love your forebears saw in glimpses, inhaled in gasps of ecstasy, exhaled into the world of wonder. You, my sweetest thing, who comprehends in quantum leaps, who delights in the discovery of all your sentient faculties, settle into the embrace of this trippy, timeless hour. When I want to write something new, in the shine of the cold January air, in the sweep of the windy night, the streetlights spotting the stretch of sidewalk past the bar that the music with the driving beat wafts out of, like a head of beer, spilling over the sides of the mug, making the handle wet to the touch, mixing sensations so that all that's heard is come. I think of you, but you are gone, and it's all been written before, over, on, and about your body. The pillars of creation plow forward like horsemen, like dancers in the free fall moment after thrusting their bodies through space. And you are at the center. As the next moment hurtles past, I know you would snatch it up with the deftness of a potter shaping clay. June Canticle. Summer's coming, summer gladdens. Like the lemmings that we are, we rush toward the lemon sun. Like the lemmings that we are, we charge into the ocean waves, rushing past a lemon sun. We're swept in pulses to the shore, cry again our birthday song, as if our flesh shines wholly new, charging into ocean waves. We're swept in pulses to the shore, crying out our birthday song. As on the seventh day, it's good, as creatures of the sea swarmed land, new light fired us into being. As on the seventh day, it's good, new light fires us into being, our bodies give a shape to breathing. Since we are rapture at the rib, our bodies give a shape to breath, we glisten in each other's eyes, as if our flesh shines wholly new, Since we are rapture at the rib, summer gladdens, summer's coming.
This poem has 5 parts. It moves from darkness to light. Geography, Earth. Where the land meets the sea, some read maps, complex instruments, flights of birds, for the signs that tell of approaching storms. Woe. As the sky darkens, wind and rain fall, and torment drums. Minds crumble before the onslaught. Is there no one there, or do they refuse to see the hand held out? Do the walkers choose the briar-filled path? Do their eyes not see the blackberries? Asleep or awake, all is one. They enter a cavernous room, wait on uncomfortable chairs to be called in a precise and mysterious order, to stand and explain their grief. The arguments are complex, the focus, a flower seller hawking dreams. Anger. Drives into town past the paper mill, past mountains of pine logs, stripped clean of bark. The air is thick with sulfur. Drives through other towns where rivers run past tanneries, past pig or chicken farms, and the fish float. When dreams crack, people gather on back streets. When voices or devices explode, the children hide. Old Town is a mill town on the river, and the water flows through old lead pipes. The families and children wash and drink from the old river. Courage. A small girl on the jungle bars talks to the boy who roars into roaring at monsters behind a wall. The boy who keeps true to old friends and his dreams in spite of the flash of easy money. A mother's cancer has returned, and the 9-year-old keeps house for the babies. Anyone who yet again packs the car for a job somewhere far from all they've ever known. The men and women who leap down to the tracks to save a stranger who fell as the train approached. Hope sees the homeless who wait on the corner, pitched tents by the train tracks and the highway edges, sees the rivers and lakes disappear. Others weep and begin to work their gardens. It is hard to follow the cycle from wrinkled seeds to lush flowers, ripe fruit to wrinkled seeds. With nightfall, they gather neighbors, friends to remember. They eat and talk. They talk of sun and rain, of what is and is not, as someone's baby or dog tumbles. Joy. This singular moment, held in the present, as it expands into light to fill the infinite. Then the whole self is focused, as if one were yet again a small child, up before the others on a forest path, barefoot on soft dust, twigs and tiny pebbles. Ahead at the turn, a small, browner than dirt bird whirls the dust in a shower of light as if in water, and the child edges closer. Child and bird pause on the path in dust, in sun. Soon there are voices. The day begins.
If you'd like to support the work of this church with a financial donation, you may write out a check to First Church Boston and mail it to 66
Let us now receive the
Marlborough
offering for this
Street,
church.
02116. You can also donate via text. Simply text the dollar amount to 617-917-5610. You will receive confirmation by email. Thank you.
extinguishes flame, but not the light of truth, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Page 11 in your order of service has the last hymn. Come into the pure air above all heaviness of storm and cloud, to this light-possessed atmosphere. Come out of, into, under the earth, the wave, the air. Love, teach us everywhere with primeval candor. Amen. Blessed be.
Please feel free to join us live each Sunday at 66 Marlborough Street at the corner of Berkeley Street in Back Bay. If you would like more information about programs, services, or membership at First Church, please visit the website www.firstchurch.firstchurchboston.org or send an email to office@firstchurchboston.org.